It was supposed to be just another target, nothing unusual, nothing worth remembering. The sniper lay flat against the ridge, his body pressed low to the earth, steady as stone, his rifle stretched out before him, cold metal resting against his shoulder, the glass of the scope catching faint glimmers of sunlight. Below, the valley spread wide, a canvas painted in shades of sand and rust. The heat shimmered above the rocks, distorting the horizon, blurring the line between sky and earth. For hours he had waited, breathing slow, muscles still, eyes sharp, routine, always routine, and yet something in the air felt heavier than usual. Mercer bedwom Kulji's calls. Rocked of the stock against his shoulder, his gloved fingers smoothed over the trigger guard, feeling its familiar curve. The scope flickered with dust motes, tiny golden flecks drifting across the glass before vanishing into clarity again. He counted his breaths. 1, 2, 3. The world narrowed to rhythm. Inhale, exhale, heart steady. He had done this 100 times before, maybe more. Each time the steps had been the same. Each time the rifle had been his anchor, his certainty, the one thing that never faltered. But today the weight of it pressed harder against him, as if it already knew what he did not. Ron, what he did not. The valley below was silent, too silent. The valley below was silent, too silent. The convoy had stopped near a scatter of ruined buildings, crumbling stone walls standing like broken teeth against the desert floor. Wind brushed against them, carrying whispers of sand, but no voices, no movement. He studied the shadows, the corners, the broken archways where someone might be hiding. Every angle of the scope was a story waiting to unfold, and one story, in particular, was about to change everything. Movement. A figure stepped out from one of the ruins, slow, casual, not hurried. The sniper tracked him through the scope, adjusting minutely, following the line of his stride, the sway of his arms. The target was ordinary, at least at first glance, tall, broad-shouldered, clothes worn by desert wind and time. The sniper's pulse quickened only slightly. He'd taken shots at figures like this before. This should have been routine. It wasn't. He adjusted the dial on his scope, drawing the man closer in the glass until every detail sharpened. The frayed sleeve, the dust on his boots, the faint lines of his face. The sniper exhaled, long and even. He counted again. 1 breath. 2. His finger began to curl, feather light against the trigger, and then a sleeve shifted, just enough for the desert sun to catch skin, and there it was, a mark, a symbol, ink, faded by years, burned darker by memory. The sniper's breath caught mid-exhale, his body froze, the rifle suddenly foreign against his shoulder. That tattoo, he knew it, not from strangers, not from enemies, but from someone whose memory had never left him. For a moment the man wasn't a target at all, he was a ghost. Every mission before this had been simple, orders in, bullets out, clean, silent, forgotten. But one symbol, one faded mark of ink, had shattered years of routine. The sniper's heart hammered in his chest, breaking the steady rhythm he had trained his body to obey. This wasn't just another mission. This was something else. He saw it as if it were yesterday, the firelight flickering across a jungle camp. Men gathered around, exhausted, sweat-soaked, half-broken by the day's march. And there, a man, rolling his sleeve back, the same tattoo burned into his skin. Someday, the man had said quietly, voice low, almost lost beneath the crackle of the fire. Someday this will mean more than ink, it'll mean survival. The sniper had laughed back then, too young to understand, too foolish to know what would come. But now, staring through the scope at the same mark, decades later, he understood. Ronatsa wands of daw traiths. The man below moved slowly through the ruins, unaware of the glass eye tracking his every step. The sniper's finger twitched against the trigger, but he didn't pull. He couldn't. His body was trained to obey orders, but his mind was drowning in memory. The tattoo wasn't just ink. It was a story, a bond, a weight, and it had no place in the crosshairs. It was supposed to be just another target, another mission, another name that would never matter, but the moment he saw the tattoo, everything changed. High on the ridge, a sniper lay frozen, not between orders and hesitation, but between the past that haunted him and the present that demanded he forget. And for the first time in years, he realized he couldn't Ron Atsugay. Ron below, with crosshairs, held steady, but the sniper's finger trembled. It was almost laughable. After years of training, years of precision, years of transforming his body into an extension of the rifle, now, in this moment, his hand betrayed him. The tattoo burned in his vision, magnified by the glass. The lines were faded, blurred by time, but to him they were clear, too clear. His breath stuttered. He tried to return to rhythm, inhale, exhale, steady heartbeat, but every breath fractured. Ron Atsugay the prism locker wannerer sketchings eats remaining, but could britcher prestural tone, yet seldes plod at the mupak pervistir, plikinchally pindivrami known the sizachum and dew that skip between about Tom. Sniper 1, do you have visual? A pause. Confirm the shot. The voice was sharp, clipped, professional. It carried no weight of memory, no burden of recognition. To command, this was numbers, this was paperwork. But to him it was Marcus. The desert pressed against his skin like a furnace. Heat waves shimmered, distorting the horizon, turning the air into glass. The world beyond his scope blurred, distant. But through the scope, the world was painfully sharp. He saw the way Marcus's shoulders shifted beneath the weight of his pack, the way his hand brushed against stone, steady, practiced. Not a stranger, never a stranger. Not suddenly, the desert was gone. He was back in the jungle. The night thick with humidity, the air alive with insects, the glow of a small fire flickering across weary faces. Marcus sat opposite him, rolling his sleeve up, revealing the tattoo. The same lines, the same symbol. Fresh then, sharp, dark against his skin. Someday, Marcus had said quietly, voice calm but weighted, this will be more than ink. It will mean trust. It will mean survival. The younger version of himself had laughed. What, you think a drawing is going to save us? Marcus had only smiled, the kind of smile that hid sorrow behind patience. You'll see. The sniper blinked hard. The firelight faded. The desert returned. The tattoo stared back at him from the scope, older now, but no less powerful. He whispered under his breath, words no one would hear. Marcus, his finger loosened from the trigger. Ulam gunfire had rained down like thunder, bullets tearing through leaves, mud splashing with each impact. He remembered the fear, the suffocating weight of panic, and then, Marcus, strong arms dragging him from the mud, pulling him behind cover. Marcus's voice, calm even under fire. Breathe, focus, you're not dead yet. That night, Marcus had carried him. That night, Marcus had given him life, and now, through a scope, he was expected to take it away. Sniper 1, report. Do you have the target? He swallowed, throat dry. His lips moved before his mind agreed. Yes. Static filled his ear. Then, take the shot. 2 words. Cold, empty, unaware of the storm breaking inside him. He lowered his head against the stock, eyes pressed to the glass. Protocol demanded obedience. Memory demanded mercy. His chest heaved. His muscles screamed. The rifle was no longer a weapon. It was a weight pressing him into the earth. One pull, one breath. That was all it would take. But he couldn't. Not yet. The desert stretched silent around him. Below, Marcus adjusted his pack, turning slightly, the tattoo flashing once more in the sunlight. And in that brief shimmer, the sniper felt the years collapse, past and present folding into one. The radio crackled again, louder this time, sharp in his ear. Sniper 1, we are losing patience. Target is exposed. Do you have visual? His lips barely moved. Yes. Then complete the mission. Take the shot. The words were ice, mechanical. They carried no weight of memory, no burden of recognition. But the man behind the scope carried both. His pulse pounded in his throat so loud it drowned the world. The crosshairs trembled, slipping across Marcus's chest, sliding back to his shoulder. Every training exercise screamed in his head. Control your breathing, steady your hands, complete the objective. But another voice whispered louder, Marcus's voice, echoing from the past. Don't lose your soul. And a memory unfolded like smoke, a night soaked with rain. The jungle dark and suffocating. The sniper, young, scared, sat with his head in his hands, trembling after his first kill. Marcus had sat beside him, silent at first. Then he spoke. One day you'll be asked to kill for reasons you don't understand. When that day comes, remember this. If you kill without knowing why, you're already dead inside. The younger man had nodded, barely listening, lost in shock. But now the words came back like a blade to the chest. Through the scope, Marcus moved again, adjusting his pack, wiping sweat from his brow. The tattoo gleamed under the sun. Not a stranger. Never a stranger. And the sniper realized this wasn't just ink. It was a promise, a bond, a lifeline carved into skin. His finger tightened once more. One pull, one breath. That was all it would take. But his vision blurred. His throat closed. The rifle trembled. He could almost see Marcus's eyes. Calm, steady. The same eyes that had pulled him out of the mud. The same eyes that had told him to breathe. And he realized with crushing clarity, he couldn't do it. Sniper 1, what is the delay? Static hissed, impatient, angry. His lips trembled. He stopped. I don't have the shot. The silence that followed was louder than gunfire.
Ronsov battlefield Roman your torm sek little and strike stock to retevnut torm dartmock the nate.
Sniper 1, what is the delay? Reverent and sordia like hooray, did Morg. And Marcus had spoken. You think survival is bullets. No, it's trust. It's knowing the man beside you will pull you out when you fall. He had looked around the circle, his gaze stopping on the sniper. Someday you'll be that man for someone else. The younger version of himself had shrugged it off, but Marcus had only smiled, as if he knew. And now, here he was. That moment, that promise, Ron Rockla Rostelp. The sniper pulled his eye from the scope. The world widened again, stretching beyond the circle of glass. The rifle was no longer steady. It was heavy, foreign, a burden. His hand slipped from the trigger, and for the first time in his career, he lowered the barrel. Ron Rocklad, the desert was silent. Marcus walked on, unaware, alive. The sniper lay frozen above, chest heaving, tears burning at the corners of his eyes. He had broken the mission, but he had saved something deeper. His soul. Another mission, another name. But the moment he saw the tattoo, everything changed. Because some marks aren't meant to guide bullets, they're meant to guide hearts. And in that silence, on a ridge above the valley, a sniper chose mercy over obedience. And in doing so, he chose life.